Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. Well, it looks like it's time to replace this smoke alarm. But this smoke alarm is actually only 7 years old. I'm gonna hook it back up here and show you how it comes down, just so that you know. And this one I've already shut the power off. I'm gonna take this down now. It's got a little side deal on the side. You got to push on that. But here I've got a new smoke alarm. You see that little side button right there? You just kind of push up on it, and that takes the pressure off of your little clips. So I got to push on that, and then twist it, and then it will come down. And get that pulled off. Yeah, that's where we were on the start, and it's time to replace this. But yet, this smoke alarm is actually only 7 years old. Why am I replacing it? Well, we've had some other 7-year-old smoke alarms in the house, and I know it's about 7 years old because on the date on the back, look, it says 2014. It says 2014 right there, see it? Right there. And so I know this one's 7 years old, even though it says it's supposed to last for 10 years. Guess what? I just had a couple of them go bad on me. And I thought I might as well go ahead and replace them all. And there's only have a couple more to do. I'm replacing 4 total. And I've got some other videos on my channel that show how to do stuff. And I've got the power off. So I thought I might as well, see, the other one went off in the middle of the night, and this one didn't, but I thought I might as well go ahead and change it out anyways. And that's why I'm doing it. Okay, I've got the mounting screws to take the trim off, and all you have to do is undo those screws a little bit. Okay, and then this should come. This part should come off, and this one might not come off because it looks like I put a washer in it from before because it had cracked out the back side, and it looks like that's what I did. See, there's a little washer up there. Now I'll keep that washer. Hey, and see that this unit. I'll go ahead and put the screw back up here. This unit, I don't have to replace it. I can keep it. In theory, it should last another 3 years, right? Well, after I replace everything, if something happens with another one, I've always got a backup. Always have yourself a backup if you can. And incidentally, the screw that was in here before stripped out, and you can take a regular sheetrock drywall screw, 1.25 inch, put it in, it works just fine. Okay, and so like I said, I got the power off, and always a good thing to do that before you start messing with power. I have done these hot before. If I couldn't find the power, the breaker, like at a condo complex, and I've had to do that before, but I really don't like doing that. Then I would do one wire at a time, be real careful and stuff. But always, it's best to shut your power off. Now see, here's the harness assembly. See this right here? And it's hooked into the old harness assembly. Look at that. This is the old harness assembly that was from another smoke alarm previous. And I don't know why whoever installed these did it that way, but they did. And it's really not a good idea to do that. I painted this condo, and I took the smoke alarms down, and when I put them back up, I thought, well, if they're working now, I'll just go ahead and leave that old harness up there, and I don't have to take the wires off, and it'll be quicker. And so I left it, but I really shouldn't have. Once I found it, I should have replaced it. Now see, I got 2 red wire nuts because there's 2 white wires, 2 black wires, and there's only 1 red wire up here. So the red wire is only connected with this orange wire nut. So of course I'm going to use the orange wire nut to go back on the red, and the red wire nuts for the white and black. Does that make sense? Do that. And when I got the new smoke alarm, usually it comes with wire nuts, but this particular one did not come with any wire nuts. I don't know why. I think it was maybe they just don't do that anymore to save costs on their end. And some electricians, they frown on using old wire nuts. So if you want to use new wire nuts, always have some extra ones around. Now see, here's the new harness assembly. Okay, and on the red one, they always leave that little plastic thing on there, and you pull that off if you're going to hook up the red. Some hardwired ones, maybe at the end of a line, maybe you're only going to have a red, black and white wire up there, no red wire. So if you don't have a red wire up there, your harness, just leave that little cap on there, like that, see? Or you could take that off and put a little blue wire nut on there, an orange one, something like that, okay? All right, so now I'm just going to kind of bend this down, and let's do the red one first. I'm just going to bend that down, use my little orange wire nut, and screw it on there. And once I have it on there, and I feel it's tight, try to do it a little bit more. And then kind of pull on your wire and make sure it's not going to come off. You'd be surprised sometimes how wire nuts have a tendency, you think it's tight, and then you think, just pull on the wire, and you pull on it, and son of a gun, it comes right off. I've had that happen before. Okay, I'll take my red wire, or my white wire, white to white. Okay, pull on it. Everything looks fine. See, I don't have to pull these wire nuts out any further. They're all pushed up in there just right. Pull it down to where you can reach everything comfortably. Okay, black goes to my black wires, obviously. Make sure you get it on there all the way. And sometimes you got to hold your mouth just right. Keep that from spinning. Keep your little black wire from twisting, and pull on it. Okay, that looks fine. Okay, now I can push that back up. Try to keep your fingers off your white ceiling. Okay, or else somebody's going to know, yeah, I saw that you replaced your smoke alarm. How do you know? Well, I saw these black grubby fingerprints all around there. Okay, push your wire nuts up far enough so that they're out of the way, so that this is going to go up and have enough room to push up in there in the middle. You don't want your wire nut hanging exactly where you've got to push this, then it makes it kind of difficult, okay? All right, so far so good. All right, let's just keep her going here. I've got my new mounting bracket. I'm just going to push up there. I've got my screws up there, and I'm just going to slide that whichever direction it goes. See, this way's for one size box, this other way's for another size box, and then there's another one, and you match your mounting screws appropriately where it's supposed to go. Or if the last person didn't have it installed properly, and if nobody's painted the ceiling, you'll know where it goes. And maybe they ran it a different direction, or maybe they didn't put it in tight, so you might want to line it up with your paint marks on the ceiling. Let's say I want to make that snug. Now, this one's a brand new one, so this screw shouldn't dig up in there, but you just don't want to do it too tight. You ram it all the way up there, you could break your plastic off of your mounting bracket. Okay. Okay, so now you want to make sure you get this hooked up right, because if you're not paying attention, you could put two of these prongs in there, thinking your third one's on there, but you have it off little cattywampus, and it doesn't click in there just right. You know, I've seen it happen before. Right. Snaps in there. I've already put the date on there, the date of the install, the date of replacement. And it's got a yellow tag here, another tag here. I just leave all that stuff on there. And sometimes if you do this with a black felt tip pin for the date of replacement or something, you might want to put that facing this way. There's a couple of different directions this will fit. You know, see right there is tight, and I could pull it down and move it around and do it a different way, but this just seems fine right there. I want to make sure it's pushed up tight all the way around. If it's not, you might click it on and half of it might be hanging down. As I twist this to the right, it should chirp, and then that will tell me that the battery's been activated properly. Now I can keep clicking it. It went a couple more times, went and so it's up there tight, nice and snug. And see, to take it down, I would have to push on that little thing to get it off the clicker before I unscrew it. There's no way you're going to unscrew that until you push that in and raises it off. It's just a little knuckle thing that clamps on where the is. You see what I mean? And well, that's it. Now, before I call that good, what's the last thing I have to do? Yeah, I've got to turn the breaker back on. And then once I turn the breaker on, because this is hardwired, once I turn it on, all I have to do is press that button up there, and it will go through a cycle. Some of them have two buttons up there. One's a reset button, one might be a test button. You just have to look on your directions and see. But I'll get up there later and push that. I've got another smoke alarm to install, and so I'm not turning the breaker on just yet. But once I get done installing all my smoke alarms, then I'll turn the breaker on, and power will be up there, and then I'll go around and press the test button, the reset button, and then we'll go through a cycle, it'll chirp, and do that. You have to do that to all your smoke alarms. Even, let's say you only had two you decided to replace because you know those were bad and they weren't working, but yet your other ones, the other three in your house you thought were still good. Once you turn your breaker back on, or once you turn it off first, then you know that once you turn it back on after you get your other smoke alarms hooked up, you should go back and press your test button, reset button on all of your smoke alarms. Okay, don't forget. It's really important that you do that. Now, if you feel there's something that I didn't go over, or you still got more questions, I've got a ton of smoke alarm videos on my YouTube channel. Go to my main YouTube channel page, click on playlists, then scroll through the many topics I have on my channel. Go down to smoke alarms, click on there, and it will bring up all of the videos that I've ever done having to do with removing smoke alarms, testing smoke alarms, replacing smoke alarms, installing smoke alarms, carbon monoxide smoke alarms, and all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so check those out too if need be. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos. And what am I going to talk about next time? Well, if you watch, it might have something to do with another smoke alarm kind of like this, but it probably is going to be how to install a smoke alarm carbon monoxide combination smoke alarm. Why am I going to do that? You'll just have to check it out to find out.